Welcome to LuxFLAG. LuxFLAG, over the last couple of decades, has been instrumental in increasing transparency in the ESG and impact investing space. Today, we are talking to Isabelle Delas. Isabelle took over LuxFLAG in the middle of last year. She brings with her a wealth of experience, which makes her an incredibly inspirational leader. Let's go find out more about Isabelle. Thank you very much for joining us on the Luxembourg Mind, Isabelle. As the effects of climate change have been more discernible on the world around us, there's been more of a focus on impact investing, on ESG investing. And LuxFLAG under your helm has seen a lot of growth in these recent few years. Can you describe briefly your career journey and how you got to this point where you're the CEO of LuxFLAG?
Thank you, Prash, for this great opportunity for myself, of course, but also especially for LuxFLAG. Before I joined LuxFLAG as a CEO 1 year ago, I was, as background you need to know, I'm a lawyer and compliance officer. And basically I was setting up the branch of Finance Motion, the Luxembourg branch. Finance Motion is a leading impact asset manager. I was also one of the board members of FIM Asset Management SRL, managing Narbaro Fund, the sustainability fund investing in forestry in Latin America and Sub-Saharan Africa. And even before that, I worked in Italy, in Rome, for an international intergovernmental development organization that is exclusively devoted to promoting the rule of law globally, basically in many countries. Yeah. And I had the chance to design and to implement technical assistance capacity building projects, especially for post-conflict countries. Mm-hmm. And that was probably where I get the most inspired and continuing in that sustainability journey, because I had a chance to work there for approximately 10 years on different subjects like environmental and social issues, climate change, as you mentioned, human rights, good governance. So this was really a true challenge and really exciting to have the impression to be part of that bigger thing, bigger event.
That sounds like a very rich career. You seem to have tackled some real big problems, and I'd love to go deeper into that. Can I ask you about what were some of the bigger challenges that you faced along your way, and how did you overcome them?
The biggest challenges was always, of course, to not so much as a CEO, but in my different functions, was always to keep up my motivation, my main engagement, because when you are working in certain countries, you have the impression sometimes that a lot of money is spent on development and basically there are some trends even, and later on you see that if a country is not longer on the agenda, basically in the development agenda, everything disappears. So you have invested a lot, like it happened for me, for example, with Afghanistan. I spent quite some time working on different projects, and then everything disappeared when the country collapsed, but also the international aid went out of the country. So
that sounds like you had a front seat view to so many things over your career, and that's really fascinating. I'm just to take a step along that path. I'm just curious about what your typical day at LuxFLAG is. Having been here for a year, what's your average day?
I think what's very interesting with LuxFLAG in particular is it's so diverse that there is no typical day. Yeah. I don't know, probably as a CEO I should have the same path every day mainly, but it's very diverse. You see, again, I can start with HR matters, continue with IT issues. Of course, there's the operations, and that all the main activity that we do is to grant certification levels. But we are in an ecosystem where we have the opportunity to do a lot of different things. And as a CEO, that's having lunch with an asset manager or interviewing someone for a panel. It's really. It sounds cool. It's not so. It's quite busy sometimes, but I have really the chance to work with a great team, a great motivated team that have chosen to work on sustainability, and which is also quite unique, I would say. And that's inspiring also for me.
No, that's great. That's great. When I think about all of the experiences that you've been through, and I look at the way you're leading LuxFLAG today, it makes me like the question, like how have your previous experiences influenced your leadership style and your approach at LuxFLAG?
I think I've been mainly influenced probably by my father, by the way. I think it starts with education. We are all speaking about education, but I think that's definitely start at home before school. Later on, I believe what's more inspiring is that basically you want to avoid all the negative experience you had, and you try not to reproduce them, to implement them at least, but to tend to implement the positive ones. Yeah. And so definitely I had the chance to work for few organizations that were putting an emphasis, let's say, on human beings, on the employees. Mainly, I had a chance to learn a lot from both experiences, and especially the last one with Finance in Motion. There were a lot about well-being, about engagement, teamwork. So that was interesting. I'm trying to reproduce it here with LuxFLAG with a young team.
No, that's great. That's great. I know. I love that you're able to draw from your experiences right as a childhood life, from your family up until your professional experiences. I think that's great. On that path, what brought you to Luxembourg? How has your journey in this great country been so far?
So this is totally not original, I would say. I came here for family reasons. I stay here for family reasons. Okay. And so far it has been very good. I think my children are really enjoying the country as well as myself. So I have to say that's nothing special in that regard.
Okay. How long have you been here now?
Now 13 years.
13? So you're practically local now, right?
Yeah, exactly. More than this is a place where I live more than the other places, basically. I live abroad for
it's also a great place to. It's also a great place to like raise kids, right? Because kids speak all these different languages now, and it's like a superpower.
Yeah, and it's truly international in that sense. So this is why also I think most of the people they love to live here. And they stay for quite some time. Usually it's a common sense that people are coming usually for 3 years and they stay forever. So.
Yeah, exactly. Right. How do you envision your relationship with Luxembourg and the society evolving over the coming years?
So I've been quite involved here since I arrived here because for me it's part of the drive of my entire career to be engaged. So I've been a former board member of, for example, of Amnesty International when I arrived here at the beginning. I've been also participating to the creation of the Sustainability for Boards Committee within ILA, where we are trying to move forward and to help the ILA members on their sustainability journey. I'm also participating to the Slow Food Grand Duché Committee, which is more about biodiversity locally and protecting a certain number of local products. Yeah, this is all about that. Something also at school where sustainability was not so well represented. Yeah, and I encourage everyone here. We have also created here an internal committee where the part of the team is engaged and trying to do also a certain number of projects for charities, not only. So I think it's just normal. We have to be grateful for what we have and to give back, basically.
No, amazing. That's brilliant. I think about the businesses that you mentioned, the experience that you've had, and it makes me think of the great environment that we have in Luxembourg. And it begs the question, how has Luxembourg's business environment contributed to the growth and success of LuxFLAG?
Thank you for asking that question, Prash, because it's true, LuxFLAG has been existing since 2006. It was created by 7 public and private actors at that time. And all of them have been very instrumental to the success of LuxFLAG because everyone is committed to our mandate, which is of course to support sustainable finance. So it starts with board members, LGBT committee members. Everyone is somehow volunteering their time and their experience to contribute to LuxFLAG success. And I think from that we also benefit from a really nice sustainable finance ecosystem with some of the one you mentioned, LSFI, CFA, Luxembourg Green Exchange, and that's really key.
Okay. On the same note, again, we talk about our business environment, we talk about how Luxembourg has been doing from a ESG, impact investment, sustainability standpoint. From your perspective, what are some areas in which Luxembourg does really, really well when it comes to sustainability? And in the same breath, are there some areas that we should be focusing on to try to improve ourselves?
So Luxembourg is really putting a lot of effort on sustainable, especially international agreements and initiatives, and investing a lot on different funds that are impact funds. And Luxembourg, as a country, has decided for the first one to have public transportation for free for everyone, which is also amazing. Building cycling paths, providing incentives to the population in that regard. And I think there's a lot of this initiative. Of course, the financial center is also, there's a certain number of responsible investments that are domiciled here in Luxembourg. There are also tax incentives for most of them. So really all green lines led for Luxembourg in that regard. I would say something which definitely can be improved in Luxembourg is mainly probably from the population, that there is an overconsumption here. Everyone is pretty much quite wealthy, and there is a lot of people are buying a lot of clothes, goods, cars, changing too often, I would say, and it's a bit disappointing because I think this is about awareness training and education, where it's important that we can understand that we need to shift and to change that mindset for something more sustainable.
Okay, from an inward-looking standpoint, I think we have our path laid out in front of us. We know what we have to do. From an outward-looking focus, what role do you think Luxembourg can play in promoting sustainability and responsible investing on a global basis? Also, touching upon your previous point about individual stakeholdership, like what can stakeholders, including businesses, government, and individuals, do to make sure Luxembourg is a more responsible country?
I believe it's all about, again, education and awareness, and I think in that regard it's important to educate the public for the future generation, but also the investors, about the benefits of sustainable practices. I also believe Luxembourg is doing a lot of projects, especially with startups, and then to encourage even more sustainable startups, and innovation and investment in research and development for sustainable technology and innovations. And I also believe basically that the main idea would be to create guidelines and incentives for businesses and investors to really integrate their sustainability into their strategy, because for now some of them are still thinking that it's only a compliance exercise. They need to report on what the EU regulation is asking for, and not shifting their mindset and thinking doing anything meaningful. So I really believe that's the main aspect where Luxembourg has all elements to be a pioneer and to show the path in that regard.
Got it. So it seems like we've made a lot of progress, but we still have a path ahead of us. But thankfully, we have LuxFLAG here to help us through the more difficult parts of this journey. So thank you. Cool. On that note, we're now going to move into our fun segment. I'm going to present you with two options, and you can pick the one that feels right to you. So I'm going to start off. I know that you did some teaching in the earlier part of your career, so I'm going to ask you, teaching the next generation or inspiring the next generation through your actions in your professional career?
I would choose the second one, the inspiring future generation through concrete actions. Sustainable actions.
Cool. Now that you actually work there, you know what you're doing. I guess you can inspire a bit more. Yeah, cool. The next one I want to ask you is about something that's a little more nuanced in your industry: sustainable investing or impact investing?
Impact investing is still close to my heart.
Still close. Okay, cool. Next is something a little more personal to you: texting or calling?
Calling. I prefer human relationship.
Yeah, the more direct touch. Okay, cool. Next up.
Human beings.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Working with SMEs, small and medium enterprises, or working with the large corporations?
SMEs. Definitely more my trend.
Okay, cool. Last question. I've saved the toughest for the last. I'm going to ask you to pick between E, S, and G. Environment, social, and governance. You need to pick one.
The three of them, but I will start, if I have to choose, I will start with the G because otherwise nothing else will happen.
Okay.
So the G.
Okay, Philippe and Ela will probably be very happy to hear that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Which brings us to the final question for the evening. I'm going to ask you for some advice for some of our listeners who are, in their careers, they're trying to transition or they're looking for meaning in their careers. What advice would you give to these professionals who are trying to grow their careers in ESG or try to transform their careers into the ESG or the impact sectors?
I think we need to understand first how passionate they are about it, because probably they are going to encounter a certain number of barriers, but I believe this is something that can be quite easily overcome. I mean, it's now there are plenty, for example, also certified courses online that you can start with, and the university here is doing a lot. It's quite, I would say, easy now to pick a subject that you like. There are some thematics now that are back, like gender, human rights, water, that are quite exciting, I would say, to work on. And there are cross-cutting teams, and we need everyone to be trained. Out there, bankers, investors. I mean, we need really everyone. So. I really believe it's something that depends what you want to live on earth, what's the meaning of what you want to do, basically. And secondly, I think of course you can build your network by attending some interesting conferences. There is a lot of webinars now. It's even easier than before because and if you are a bit curious, if you are open-minded, adaptable, you can even go around, travel a bit. It sounds less ecological, but basically you will encounter, you will meet with population, vulnerable population, and basically maybe you will understand what does it really mean, what are the climate change effects for some of them.
Okay, and I guess as the industry evolves, as there's more awareness, opportunities will increase. There'll be a lot of, there already are a lot of learning opportunities, there are professional opportunities compared to what was there 10, 15 years ago. So we are on an upward trajectory, I guess. Also with your second point with respect to conferences, there are so many in Luxembourg, between LuxFLAG and LFSI and ICFA that Stefan does. There's so many opportunities here.
Yeah, exactly. Quite too many, I would say. It's difficult to pick some. But professionally, I definitely think everyone should embrace that kind of career because it's really something which is meaningful for others and meaningful for yourself. Because you really have the impression you can add something to what you do and to be grateful to the others in that way.
Well, that's really great advice. Listen, thank you so much for doing this for us.
Thank you, Prash.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.